Hey everyone, it's Ellie Mae with Swift Creek Customs, and today I wanted to just show you a couple of the differences. I see it being asked a lot on what the difference is between Siser Juliet is versus Siser Romeo. So I am going to briefly, because there are not very many differences at all, share with you what those differences are. So the most obvious one is that Juliet is a 12-inch cutting machine. She's smaller, she's sleek, while Romeo is a 24-inch cutting machine. Again, there are very few differences between these machines, but I will point those out for you. So Juliet can cut a little bit over 12 inches. She has a cover and a front little lid that opens up. While Romeo, it's very hard to get these both on a video, but Romeo does not have a cover. Romeo is open, 24-inch machine. There is no cover for him, no lid. He's just an open machine. So that is the first difference between the Siser Juliet and Romeo, is a cosmetic difference. The second feature, I'm just going to unplug Juliet here, and I'm going to turn her around. So the next main difference is Juliet has 3 rollers on the backside versus Romeo, who has, let's see if we can move her out of the way. Romeo has 4 rollers on the backside. And Romeo cuts a little bit over 24 inches. So you have those 4 rollers, which also means that you have different locations. The black grippy areas are where your rollers can be located. So your rollers can be located at different locations versus Juliet, who has 3 grip areas on the roller bar. Again, there is not very much difference. The only other difference that you have here is in the size. So if I move Romeo to the center, you have Juliet. Here's Juliet sitting in the middle of Romeo. Or if I line them up exactly on this edge over here, this is how much bigger Romeo is than Juliet. So your main differences are Juliet has a cover, Romeo does not. Juliet has 3 rollers that you can position. Romeo has 4 rollers that you can position. Juliet is a 12-inch, little over 12-inch cutting machine, and Romeo is a 24-inch cutting machine, little over 24-inch cutting machine. But those are your differences between your Juliet and your Romeo. Now, not everybody is going to need Romeo, and you are going to need space to set up both machines. As you can see, Juliet is going to be a much less needed space. You are still going to need to support your materials and your cutting mat when it is cutting, just because of the facts of life, like gravity. But especially important for Romeo, you need a workspace that is wide enough to secure the machine. You spend a lot on a cutting machine that you're going to use for a long time. So make sure to have your machine fully supported the entire width, and I would have the entire width of Romeo. I'd probably give it a little extra on either side just to make sure that he is secure. And keep in mind, you're going to have to support your materials on the front and on the back side. Now, while Romeo is 24 inches, it could utilize a 24-inch by 24-inch cutting mat. That is a large cutting mat. It is a monster mat. I refer to that a lot in my Cameo Pro videos. It is heavy for a machine. Now, if you're going to lift it yourself, you're going to say, oh, that's not that heavy. But for a machine to pull into it against gravity, it is a heavy mat. So keep that in mind. If you are using a 24-inch length cutting mat, I would highly recommend that you have 22 inches in front and 22 inches behind the machine that is fully supported and a flat surface. If it's hanging down in front or behind the machine at all, you could experience feed issues. That is not necessarily a machine issue, but it's in the setup and having that material and that mat supported. You'll also encounter that if you have a heavy bulk roll that the machine is trying to pull up and into the machine from. So when you're using large lengths of materials or that 24-inch cutting mat, I would highly recommend that your machine is fully supported the entire length in front and behind the machine. So I hope these tips have helped you to see the differences, which are very few, between your Siser Juliet cutting machine and your Siser Romeo cutting machine. Check out the description below for links to more information on both machines. Thanks for joining me. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below and we'll get those answered for you.